Okay. All right. So I don't expect anybody to see this live, and that's okay. That's not what I'm here for. What I'm here for is to let myself tell stories and, finally do the thing where where I leave the camera going. Oh, great. Oh my God. Wow, that's working out so good. Okay. Holy shit, I did not anticipate having this cool of a setup. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. When I walk away from the computer, my plan will be to oh, that's not gonna be, see, that's okay. You are doing it right. It's the sticker I was trying to show off. Okay, so when I walk away, I will show this scene, and then yeah, so that's like kind of the indication that I'm away and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm gonna warm up a little bit and make the chat go away because that's gonna distract me. I don't want the chat to happen. Please, how do we get go the fuck away? Jesus Christ. Okay. All right, there you go. All right, well, I don't know why this seems weird to me, but okay, buddy. The sun is coming out, George. The sun is coming out. We're gonna go for a walkie soon, and it's gonna be really nice. Gonna be really nice. Oh, cool. Okay, check this out. This is the light fixture above the table. All right. It bums me out when I have a really good song on the way to like set up the computer and then it goes away. But it's partly why I want to just leave the damn thing running. I really should have this higher. This way I want to leave the damn thing running is so I can, it's ready when I am. George, the sun is coming out. George, the sun is coming out. You're such a good boy, such a good boy. Yeah, okay. Obviously, he'll come back. He'll come back in a minute, so we're just going to do like this. And whatever inspired me to come turn this on will come back. What is going on now? Mm-hmm. Guess I could make a sign that says be right back. Be right back. But it's not true. What am I going to say? I'm going to really be right back. Where's my pins? Oh, they're all away. Where are my pins? Where are my pins? Where are my pins? Shit, I still have mail to send. Damn it, George. I just need to write things down, huh? I need to write things down so that I will quit forgetting to do the important things. I need to drink more water, George. I need to drink more water, George. Yes, buddy. Yes, buddy. Okay. So, since that table is so highly reflective, I have it protected with towels because I am like, eek, I don't want to scratch it. I don't want to smudge it. I want it to be in the same perfect condition it was when I arrived. And it would be so easy to mess it up that I just am taking no risks. So I've got towels down. Okay. Okay, I'm going to take a couple deep breaths, George. All right, so what just came to me is basically just a couple minutes ago I Never mind. I'm not trying to give backstory. I'm just going to go right in. Okay. Okay. So this morning, it's a Monday morning, and I am in Dunthorpe, Oregon, which is right over by Lewis and Clark College. So it's not super far from downtown. I think with no traffic, I think I could get downtown in under 15 minutes for sure. So sometimes Monday mornings are really lucrative as a Lyft driver. So I did get up. I have to get up a little earlier than I want to, or than I naturally would wake up. But went pretty easy this morning. I got out of here, I don't know, around a little before 7, I think. And basically everything that happened, and I do want to try to remember the details. Everything that happened, I feel like, was part of the full experience where, yes, the thing that got me out of the house was to go make some actual cash. But while I was out, I did make some cash. I didn't make as much as I'm used to making, so I did come home a little earlier than otherwise would. But the other things that happened were so elevating to my life experience that that was more valuable to me because I was able to be out and about this morning. So the first thing that happened was when I turned my app on, because I've been leaving from here recently in the mornings, Lyft had put right above me a $4 per ride bonus. And I mean, that's pretty decent. Like I am about 350 is when I start to go, all right, that's good enough. If I still have energy, I'll go ahead and go online and do another trip or something. So, but obviously I prefer $5 or more. All right, back to the track. Anyway, the $4 bonus right above me was not normal to typical behavior of the app. So I knew that it was basically one of those signs that I'm being taken care of. There's unexpected currency abundance on its way to me. And that always makes I just feel so much better when I'm driving into town and I know that I have the opportunity to make money as I drive into town instead of driving most of the way to downtown without even being online because I won't take straight pay. I'm like, fuck that shit. So I got to get to the area where it's hot. Anyway, so that was thing number one is very first trip, got it pretty quickly, $4 bonus. Second was the sunrise. The sunrise this morning. Oh my fucking God. Yes, it was a similar frustration in that there was no way for me to take decent photos and still work. But I got to, make memory capsules of this particular sunrise. And I even got to share it with the first writer. It was still happening. No, and then the second, one of the other ones, we talked about it, and she was on the 10th floor of her building and on the south waterfront. And so she had the whole vista. Anyway, so I'm coming down the hill from Lewis and Clark. Almost. Buddy! Oh, I'm about to mute. That was the first time I've actually really heard George bark. And I guess he saw something at the window, but I'm not sure what it would have been because there's not much of a view of anybody or anything else. Anyway, okay. So I was talking about this sunrise. So anyhow, I'm coming down the hill from Lewis and Clark, and there's a couple of spaces where there's really not much of a tree, not many trees like in the way. Um, and so as I, was driving through past one of those, Mount Hood was in silhouette, and like the whole sky behind it and further south for a little bit was, I don't know, what is that, like orange fire red color? I don't know, and a whole blend of things. And there was also some clouds that were in basically in silhouette too. They look gray, even though I think it was just because of the where the sun was over the mountain. And even though they weren't right over the mountain, there were some of those crazy clouds that look like UFOs. But for the most part, they were the long, thin kind. But later, like the bumpy clouds. Anyway, those were the underside was colored later. But anyhow, I saw that and went, "Oh my god! Oh my god! I think there was a driveway right there. I've got to turn around and go see if I can real quick catch a quick photo of that." It took me a little, I don't know, it took me probably at least 3 minutes to go down, um, get turned around. Uh, I technically did. I technically did an illegal turn, but if for some reason, buddy, nice. His bark wasn't so loud, I would leave it recording because I feel like I have really good. That's part of how I work with reactive dogs. Is anyway, I don't want to get off that. Anyhow, I think part of it is we're sitting by some windows I don't think he sits by very often, so he thinks he's seeing things more. I don't know, maybe it's a squirrel. Anyway. Anyhow, by the time I got turned around, I realized there really wasn't a place for me to safely pull over, so I had to. By this time, I had gotten a trip, so I also needed to be quick about it. I did find a little spot that I could pull over, and I tried to get a photo, but it that it, yeah, I was just below the good sight line. But you know, I'm glad I had the opportunity to try to catch it, and I did take a photo. It's just not very good. I think today's gonna be the first day that there's sun out since I've been here, and there's some cool fucking shadows going on. Anyway, okay. I love these stairs. I have some really cool photos of these stairs reflected in that table. Anyhow, basically the experience of the sunrise was a huge elevation of my life experience, right? So that's part of what I consider to be if something elevates my experience in some way, whether it's something I knew I needed and it arrives as a gift or as a buy nothing thing or at a discount. Like if there's something I needed and it arrives really easily, I consider that part of it too, or divine compensation. But obviously, because it's elevating my experience, it's something I was going to buy anyway, and then I didn't have to. But in this case, it's the experience. It's the experience of, like one of those sunrises that you hope you remember your whole life. And that's why I wanted to get a picture. But that's one of the, I guess it's a blessing of driving early in the morning or when the sun set. That's a blessing of driving at sunrise or sunset is I almost never can pull over and take a photo. And so what that does is it kind of insists that I just experience it with my own eyes and don't think about trying to share it. And so that's why I think I can almost never find a good spot to pull over and why I got hurt on Christmas Eve trying to get an epic shot. Yeah, I get the some point maybe I start telling the stories of the lengths that I have gone to or would be willing to go to try to get a particularly good photo. Um, okay, so the sunrise, mind blowing. That in itself was worth it. Was worth getting out of bed for and driving. The 7 minutes I had to before I could see it. But then I stayed consistently busy for the next hour, and each trip there was $3+ bonus on it. So, and I've already gotten a couple of tips. So it wasn't a great hour, but I've already made 32. So, I mean, that's decent. I mean, that my goal is a minimum of 35, but I'm okay with 32. Uh, and so all of that was really nice. And I keep getting a lot of women. I feel like get a statistically impossible number of women writers, which I love that. But uh, yeah, of course, I'm having memories come up that kind of remind me of like, oh, this is a story. Like, no, I'm trying to stay on track. Um, what else was elevation of my experience? So the sunrise went on for quite a while, and I got to see so many different angles of Portland. And I love this city. I mean, I do. I love it in kind of a similar way that I love a pet or a dear friend. um, so I got to see so many different angles, and there's all these, newish buildings, all this glass, and it actually looks pretty cool when the sun is reflected, and it's kind of neat. And I don't love all the big buildings. Um, I thought older Portland, 90s Portland was way like more quaint, but uh, it's beautiful, and in these sort of magical lighting conditions, it's just off the charts. So that was a huge that in itself, like I said, would have been a reason to get out of bed. But I never would have. There's no point in me just going and just driving around. I'm tired. I would have stayed in bed. But that was a gift. Consistently having the consistent work without much of a pause, and with each ride having $3 to $4 um, bonus attached to it was a gift too. Sometimes it's a little slower. Sometimes I would go home earlier if I was making less, but it turned out good. Low mileage, everything about that was great. And then it slowed down, and I decided like at 8:15, I'm going to go back to George's, but I happened to be right by a gas a car wash, and my car was so dirty, and I actually was sort of embarrassed picking people up in such a dirty car. It was fine during the storm and immediately after the storm. Everybody expects your car to be dirty, but um, it's been long enough. I needed to wash it. So that was a big bonus. I'm like, oh, I've been trying to get to the car wash, and now it was just easeful. It's right here. And then I made it back early. There's been a couple mornings I've gone out driving that I didn't get back till 9:30, and I think that's a little hard on George. I think he has to pee multiple times in the morning. I don't know. Um, and so, I got back at 8:30, and he was like, "Oh, great." He wasn't, having to pee super bad, and he was happy to have breakfast. So getting back early was good. And then what that did is that created some time and space for me where I felt like zero guilt playing video games for a while. Got myself a little breakfast, which would be second breakfast because I had something earlier. Oh, I haven't eaten my banana yet. I should do that. Um, Today is a Monday, and I have long called Mondays Integration Monday. And I do that specifically because I found that there are typically a lot of really impactful experiences that I have on weekends. And if I had to go back to work on Monday and work all day somewhere, uh, I would never have the chance um, to kind of just let things settle. Sort of like when a pond gets muddied, um, and it takes a little while for the mud to settle, um, and that's just natural part of the process. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not a bad thing when the looks muddy. Uh, I mean, actually had a fucking amazing good weekend. Um, but still, I mean, good, bad, indifferent, all of it. There needs to be time. I especially need time to just kind of go, what am I going to? Oh, I can just do whatever the fuck I want today. If I'm just going to lay on the couch, that's cool. I have a really hard time doing that though, so I'm not sure how much I'll be able to do that. But lately, I've been able to convince myself to be on the couch for longer periods of time by putting a castor oil pack on myself somewhere. Mostly my toes so far, but probably should do my knee. So yeah, Mondays I try to take really good care of myself. I haven't to this point been all that successful, but that's part of what I love about being in a different space, and especially when it's beautiful. And so this place is, um, first of all, it's like second place to the biggest house I've ever been in, and the first one was just a couple months ago, and it was literally the biggest house I have ever stepped foot in, and I it was so nice. It was it was one of the funnest places. The only thing that would have made it better is if it had an outdoor chemical free hot tub. But it did have a game room. It had Batman pinball and Star Wars pinball, which I didn't end up playing very much because I thought I didn't like it. A humongous TV, a couch that the Great Dane could get on with me, um, and a Miss Pac-Man machine that had a million games on it. It was so fucking epic. Anyway, this is the second largest house, and interestingly, it's also really long. That one was just like long, um, but yeah, I guess that's a thing. Uh, anyway, but it's amazing, and I really love this reflective table because it shows. I get to every time I come down the stairs, I get to see something like that. Like, that's fucking cool, and I've gotten some really cool photos of it. And I do intend to like sit here at some point and do some of my watercolor, and I can use the actual tree as the model instead of taking a photo, and I'm so excited about that. So that also is part of what I consider to be divine compensation is I get to come temporary home. I get to come home to a very sweet dog who's happy to see me, but not like spazzing out. He's very easy to understand. He seems to understand me very easily. Physically, we're at a similar pace because he's got bad back end, so he can't always walk a lot. But he loves to just be right next to me. He's a very sweet boy. He's mostly quiet, and which is different than the experience his dad and another male pet sitter that I had here when I wasn't able to stay with George. He said he just made noise like all the time, like yowled at him, which is one of his ways of communicating. But I think because I actually respond to him and I do give him a lot of attention. I'm sure his dad does too, but his dad would work for stretches of time. And I don't really do that. I do little short spurts and then I engage with the dog because he's so sweet and co-regulating for me. And there's nobody that needs anything from me. I'm not responsible for anything but myself. I've never lived alone as an adult. I've always had a housemate, husband, or kid and husband, partner, like whatever. I've never lived alone. Um, and this, I feel like, is the perfectest way to get time, basically where I live alone, is get paid to go hang out in other people's incredible homes that they pay for. And I get to hang out with their, to this point, amazing dog. I don't think I've had any assholes. There he goes. He's barking again. George, what do you want, buddy? We gotta go. You've been farting. Yeah, you farting. Okay. Oh shoot! I don't think I unmuted. Man, that's probably real loud. Okay, buddy, we go. He likes his walkabout now, or a little earlier. He would have been happy with. But yeah, I just smelled him farting, so I think he's got poop. He likes to poop on a walk. We gotta go. But I finally realized what he's seen. He has seen a person. Like there are some gaps in the bushes, so he's seen a person kind of walking around back there. But yeah, I was just saying that getting to come to a home that someone else pays for, and I get to just have that live alone experience, but I get to go to my real home um, in between jobs and be with my partner. And I really love living with him. And the housemates I live with right now are all pretty great. And for the most part, are there's a lot of time I get the house to myself because the one housemate who might be home during the day spends a lot of time in his room, and so that's perfect too. But the fact that I don't know, I know that when people live alone, frequently they don't know how long they're going to be living alone, and so it seems to me that there's this like aching loneliness that happens for a lot of folks at some point where they're just like, I just want there to be someone else in the house. Well, I guess I do maybe know, because even though I was living, my daughter and I were living together. We were going through a really hard time for a couple of years there when we were on our own, and I did used to stand in the kitchen and just wish there was somebody just to hug me, and like pet my head and rub my back and tell me it was going to be okay eventually. Um, and I really like when, like, especially obviously a man kind of does that kind of deep voice, or maybe even rumbles. I know some men who just kind of rumble, and I love that. Um, and it's particularly lovely now that I do live with folks, that the person I get the most hugs with a few exceptions, I feel very safe with him. In a lot of ways, not always, but there are some times that I don't think he realizes that I consider his behavior to be out of integrity, and maybe sometimes even a lie, maybe more a lie by omission. But yeah, we got to talk about that a little more. And it's coming up. There's reasons for it to come up. So, um, yeah. So yeah, ideal situation. And I think I'm a genius finding a great way for people to pay me to hang out in their beautiful place. Like it's as if I got an Airbnb, but I'm not paying for it, and I'm getting an Airbnb that is beyond anything I would ever put cash down for, pay for, unless I was like a multimillionaire. Like it would be a level of discretionary income that I would be like, what the fuck? I can donate that. Why would I spend $16,000 in a month staying in some mansion? Like, uh, that reminds me, I do need to look up kind of like the Airbnb value of this home as well as the other one that was like the biggest ever. Uh, because by comparison, a very sweet, lovely, lovely home, but it's more average size, but it's really close to Mount Tabor, like 3 blocks from Mount Tabor. Um, Even the Airbnb value of that one was a couple $100 a night. So a house like literally probably 10 times its size. I'll have to look that up. Anyway, so the reason why I consider something like that to be divine compensation is because um, anytime I have to actually give my time to something, particularly if it's something I don't really see a future in or I don't really feel like is the best use of my time, like delivery or gig or Lyft driving. Um, if I have to trade my time to actually earn cash in order to turn around and pay for something that I need or want, that is, I consider extremely expensive. It's almost like, if I have to pay $50 for something, um, even if it's something I really need and want, I know that I had to work a minimum of an hour and a half, um, or pet sit one night, or work a couple of hours at delivery. So it kind of ranges, how much I can expect to make in an hour, depending on which kind of gig I do. But if I have to do that, um, yeah, like I said, I consider that to be very expensive. $50 equals at least, and sometimes it's an hour, but very rarely an hour to an hour and a half. But the average is probably, yeah, an hour and a half, whatever the $35 an hour is. So that's Lyft driving. If I'm pet sitting, granted, the couple of hours I need to spend to earn around $50, but I'm going to raise my rates. Um, I need to spend a couple of hours typically, like, walking the dog, making sure they get fed, making sure they get what they need, playing with them for a little while. I feel like it's a little bit of an expense for me to have to like figure out where everything goes and where everything is. And it takes me a couple of days to settle in. And so, in a sense, those are also um, some value lost, but I feel like it's far gained. So anyway, if I had to go out and get cash to pay for a place like this, um, you know, I mean, if I say that my average is $35 an hour working for Lyft, and uh, say $60 a night pet sitting, like the amount I would have to work if those were my only sources of income in order to pay for an Airbnb of this expansiveness and this value and this gorgeousness and this like everything is amazing. Except for the bathtub is gross, but that's fine. I don't have to take a bath. uh, yeah, the cash value is staggering, and I would never spend that much because, like I said, I would literally donate it or, put it to some good use. I would loan it to some micro business before I would spend like $16,000. I don't know why I have that number in my head, but on just a place to hang out and relax. Like what? I could see getting a place of high value if I was doing a retreat that was going to pay well enough that it would, would be an elevation of everyone's experience to have a particularly amazing house. But honestly, but that's a huge expense when it comes to putting on workshops. I would much rather have the space be donated so that I don't have to actually charge as much. Um, I could charge far less and it would still be like really valuable to myself and whomever else was kind of co-facilitating. And I feel like the value of anyone being in a space like this, where it's just beautiful and spacious and different. It's an art gallery too. This house practically so much beautiful art, mostly trees, which I fucking love because that's all I want to paint lately is trees. Anyway, that's one reason that I would pay cash if I had to, but I would rather not. I would rather, like I said, it be donated. And I honestly, I truly believe, and particularly based on how well I seem to manifest everything that I truly want, I truly believe that I will have clients at some point who will be happy to donate the use of their home, uh, basically perhaps in trade for my pet sitting services, knowing that it will be left in excellent condition, knowing that it will be treated with the most respect, um, and that I'd be taking full responsibility for my guests. Um, I really do believe that I'll find clients who will be willing to donate their house for something like that when they're gone anyway. So um, I know that's on the horizon because that's something I've been thinking about for a long time. And I know I was just saying I gotta take George for a walk, and then I went off again. Anyway, yeah, I don't have to trade cash for it. So, but I still get to have the experience, and it's even better because I'm getting paid cash for it. So I was just like, I think that's fucking genius. And the homes that I get to stay in have consistently elevated in just everything being amazing about them over the past couple of years. And I have never stayed in a home that I thought was icky, not even once. Every home has been nicer, basically, usually nicer than anything I've ever lived in. So I think that's awesome. But now they've gotten bigger, and now they're like literally mansions. And now I'm getting back into this crowd that I was so bummed I lost when I left the University of Oregon. Regretted so much not connecting on LinkedIn with all of these folks because I met so many powerful, influential leaders, business leaders in Portland. And I met them a number of times. And I don't expect they even remember me. It was like 9 years ago or some shit like that. Um, but I can honestly say we've met. I can say who I worked for. I could say some of the, like conditions under which we met if they're curious. So far, both the wives that I've spoken to, I had talked to on the phone at some point. Again, they didn't remember, and I didn't expect them to. But that like is such an in that they're like, oh, I automatically trust you. And I felt, the first one felt comfortable referring me to another one. And all these people are really good friends because they're like trustees of the foundation board of the University of Oregon. They're buds. And they know lots of amazing people that I never did meet. So it's going to be an amazing year. Okay. And another way to eventually elevate my experiences, I'm raising my rates to $65 a night for the first dog. And my students, I'll charge $55 a night. So, yeah, awesome. It's awesome. Okay, the tree. Now we're getting a little bit of sun on the tree. Oh, this is not the best camera. Anyway, it's time to go. It's time to go, and I am gonna end this one and start another one after I come back from my walk with George. Oh my God, George, you're so cute. I'll take a picture of how you are holding your face. Oh, bud, you were cuter a second ago. What the hell, man? Okay. I just missed it. He had his paws kind of around his face like that. Anyway, so I'm going to go for a walk. And my intention is to come back and turn this back on because I really do have a lot of stories I need to tell. And my next time commitment is I'll have to leave the house around 1 o'clock to go to my hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatment at my friend's house. So that's fucking amazing too. My friend got this incredible, cool, healing device, and she's invited me and a couple of others to come benefit from it as well. And we're going to contribute to what she rented it for. But it's one of those things where she's like, I was going to do this anyway. And if y'all want to benefit from it too, great. If you'd like to pitch in, that's awesome. But we all kind of understand this thing where being somebody with long-term significant illness, to the point of you really can't work much, so you don't know what your income's going to be, it's stressful to put a plunk $1,000 a month down on something that you're like, I know this is going to help me, but damn, this is stressful to put down $1,000, or whatever the amount is. But the fact that she's willing to be like, I get it. We've all been there. If you can't, pay cash, great. It's fine. just come. Just we'll work out the schedule. Like she's been amazing, uh, and I've been trying to help too, like schedule things or keep, I don't know, update people in the little list. Uh, and I will pay her actually more than she's asking for. So, okay, I really got to go because it looks like the sun continues to come out. It's January, but god damn it, it's like 60, which is lovely and a little bit upsetting because it's not supposed to be 60 in January. Oh, wow, this angle right here. Oh my gosh. This, oh my god. So I gotta see if I can get a picture of this angle because it kind of looks like this tree has sprouted legs and is walking. And I've always wanted to make it look like trees are walking. That's literally been one of the projects I most like doing in college. Ooh, this is an angle I haven't tried before. George, you're so patient. You're such a good boy. I appreciate it so much. Oh, Jesus, this is so fucking cool. Okay. Oh my god, that's cool too. I'm in love with this. Like a pond in the house. Okay. Damn it, that lined up so good. And it's still sort of hard to tell what's going on. So it's like I like it when there's a. It's probably not going to show. I'll post the photo eventually. I like it when you can't really tell what's going on because even though it's like kind of really normal stuff, it's just a tree and a table and some windows. It's hard to. It's like almost like an optical illusion, but I didn't have to. There was no challenge whatsoever in creating an optical illusion. Okay. All right. I'll be back when I get back. Bye.